Welcome, everybody, to another edition of The Global Reality. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. This is the Tuesday, September 17th, 2019 edition of the broadcast. I am coming to you live here. Well, not live, I guess, but, I'm recording this, but I'm coming to you here direct from the suburbs of Dallas. If you hear background noise or anything like that, dogs barking, I'm currently doing this broadcast outside. It's actually a nice night. It's about 7:30. The sun's going down. If my white ginger ass doesn't get carried off by mosquitoes, it'll be pretty nice out here for a show tonight. So I'm on the mobile rig. We just got the mobile rig. And this is the first show I'm doing at it. I'm back here with you, thanks to the contribution that we got to make that happen. And I'm still displaced from my house. Hopefully that's not going to be the case much longer, but it's been a long haul. But and it figures, I've been waiting, and finally I get the cash together to get a mobile rig, and then it's going to be reconnected soon. So, but the great thing is about what I did, I was smart about what I got. So I got this little portable Tascam recorder. So the great thing about this, actually, I actually really did need something like this, because now if I ever want to do interviews, interviews with anybody, or on location interviews, or somebody comes to town, and I want to go to their hotel room and interview them or something like that, I have this thing. I can do this now. And other than just... and the awesome thing about this, I can do this entire rig without having to have anything plugged in. I can run everything here on batteries. Everything that you're hearing right now is all running on batteries. I've got my laptop. It's got a battery, obviously. And then I've got the microphone, headphones, and everything plugged into this Tascam thing. And... so here you go. So yeah, we're on the mobile rig. And, if I would have just got another interface like you plug into the computer with a microphone, it would have just got in the closet and it would have got, used a couple of times. That probably would have been it. But something like this, I don't have something like this. So this is a great way. And it actually started getting me thinking. I was like, maybe I should go do that sometime. Now that I have this rig, maybe I should go out and go do a show in Dealey Plaza. I mean, I could do that. It's nothing. I can fit everything I need to do this in a backpack now. So, on top of having that, and what we already have at the studio, this is really nice. And also, if I was in a situation, most of the time I'm always at home. Hopefully, this is a situation that's not going to anything like this is going to happen again. But any case where I might be on the move and want to still be able to broadcast, because I haven't been able to broadcast, this is a great solution for that. And we'll see. This is a very inexpensive solution to be able to do this. But anyway, I'm glad to be back with you in whatever capacity that means. It's been too long, that's for damn sure. And hopefully all this ongoing saga of the electrical issues and my power being cut and all that stuff is going to get resolved very soon. But I'll update you and let you guys know once it happens. So for now, I'm here with you. It's like I said, it's a beautiful night in the mouse. I don't think in the 12 years, and this is our 12-year anniversary month this month, and I don't think in the, excuse me, got to blow the cobwebs out, folks. It's been a couple of weeks. Got to bear with me here. I don't think in the 12 years that I've been doing this show, I don't think that I've ever actually done a show outdoors. In fact, I know I haven't. I've never done a show outdoors. So this is a first. And it's kind of cool. It's different. It's nice to kind of feel a little breeze blowing on your face while you're looking at a computer screen and talking to people, It's kind of a different vibe. I like it. But maybe this will inspire that kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just go to some random place now and just do certain shows at random places, like, okay, the ones at Dealey Plaza. Well, that was a huge drop-off. Maybe that's not a good idea. You noticed that, right? I couldn't think of another place right off the top of my head. That's always not a good idea unless you're coming up with stuff. I'm just spitballing, throwing stuff out there. But it just got me thinking that since I was now able to get this mobile rig and have this, and it runs on batteries, and if my laptop is charged, I can still read news stories and do whatever I need to do on that, and have enough, allotted time with battery time and everything to do that. So maybe I'll do more stuff like that in the future, just do them from random locations, and maybe I'll even do stuff where I'll be like, if you go to this location at this time, you can actually watch me recording it or something. I don't know. I just had all kinds of ideas. I just have to mix it up and do different things in the future, since I have the ability to be able to do it mobily now. What else do I want to talk about? I've got a bunch of shit ton of news here. So it's been piling up, as you can probably imagine, if I haven't been doing justice. It's not like I stopped, It's not like I stopped doing my news gathering, my research, and all that stuff. But I'm ready to be back at it with you here, and being back at it with you here tonight on the mobile rig is, it already, I got to be honest with you, it already is like because a lot of our fans, man, they talk about they need their fix, need their global reality fix. They don't get it, they start to fiend. And I kind of think I've been, fiended to talk to you guys a little bit, because I got to be honest with you, just this right now so far, it already feels like, like I'm getting my fix. It feels natural. This is very cool. I got to be honest with you. It's just the sensation of doing it, of just being, being somewhere different for once. I talked about that on the last update. This has been the shittiest thing, probably the shittiest thing I've ever had to deal with anywhere I've ever lived. But what can you do? It's again, I'm fully responsible for things that I do, and things that are my fault, that I caused. I mean, none of this was my fault. None of this is anything that I did or caused. So, getting mad about it, being pissed off about it, and being in a bad mood about it is not going to fix it either. Believe me, the old me would have already had a fucking coronary by now, but I don't, I don't really do that anymore. So no, I've been cool with it. But it's always, even when you have things that are unfortunate happen, oftentimes, that's cliches for a reason, but oftentimes, there's other things that come out of it. So, it's been, I've got to spend some time with my niece, and, she's 4, and seeing the, her, the time in her life that, I know that I wouldn't have seen, I would have missed all that. Had this shitty fucking electricity thing not happened. And my cat had become great friends. So, it's awesome to watch that. And, just things you think about that you wouldn't have got to see, that you got to experience, even though what allowed that situation to happen was completely fucking utterly shit. But, I don't know. I've tried to not let it get to me. It's been tough, but I've just been, well, the fucked up thing was they told me that it was, like Friday, they said it was going to be back on by Saturday at the latest, and here we are, it's Tuesday, and it's still not back on, but supposedly it's supposed to be back on tomorrow afternoon for sure, 100%. But I've got, the problem is that I had to Uber over there. I moved over there overly to find out that it wasn't turned back on yet when I thought it was. So then I had to come all the way back, pack up my cat and all my stuff again, and come all the way back. It's been a pain, but luckily, like I said, I have family looking out for me, and me and my cat, making sure that we had a place to stay for the past, well, it's over 2 weeks from going on. It'll be 3 weeks Friday, so yeah, it's crazy. Luckily, like I said, We'll be back in the studio hopefully tomorrow. If I am back in the studio tomorrow, I may or may not do a show. It's going to be on how I feel. Because, getting back in my place, I'm going to have a shit ton of stuff to do around there. So, but we'll see. But I am, like I said, I'm back here with you. I'm grateful for the support that we got that enabled us to get this mobile rig that will also, I think, enable me to do some other different stuff. And, just have the ability to record anywhere, anytime, and not to have anything hold me back. Because, like I said, it's already bad enough when I'm not doing shows and I'm working on the films. And then people don't know that we need your support, so I'm not able to ask for your support and contributions, and also stuff like this. Hopefully, I get compensated in some way for all this, because I'm already going to have to pay $120 to up to $240. They said out of my own pocket for like disconnect and reconnect fees, which had nothing to do with me. I don't know, but we'll see. But like I said, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing really left to update you on. As far as I'm just waiting to get back to my place so I can get back to work. That's it. But again, I'm grateful to be here with you tonight and grateful to be able to just do something until I get back. Hopefully, we'll be back on tomorrow. If it's not back on tomorrow, I'll definitely be back here tomorrow night with another mobile show for sure, 100%. If it is on, I may or may not be back because I'll have to get resettled back into my place. You know how that is. Anyway, we've got a lot of news. Let me get through some of this for you here tonight. U.S. unleashes military to fight fake news and disinformation. Fake news and social media posts are such a threat to U.S. security that the Defense Department is launching a project to repel large-scale automated disinformation attacks as the top Republican in Congress blocks efforts to protect the integrity of elections. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency wants custom software that can unearth fakes hidden among more than 500,000 stories, photos, video, and audio clips. If successful, the system, after 4 years of trials, may expand to detect malicious intent and prevent viral fake news from polarizing society. I mean, listen, are you hearing this? Are you listening to what this is? Are you listening to what they're saying here? Did you hear what I just read? DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project, DARPA. They want custom software that can unearth fakes hidden among more than 500,000 stories, photos, video, and audio clips. If successful, the system, after 4 years of trials, may expand to detect malicious intent and prevent viral fake news from polarizing society. Now, I don't know what that sounds like to you, but to me, that is 100% a massive Orwellian. I mean, this is a whole other level. Because then they get to program this thing to flag. There's no reason, if you're somebody like me who's into putting out information, there's no way that you can be somebody like I am in this field and not think this is not targeted at you specifically. Because they're going to get to determine what's fake and what isn't. And there's just no way. They're not saying conspiracy theories here. They're not using that terminology specifically here, but they don't have to. Then they'll call that a conspiracy theory. There's no way, because again, who decides? Just like any of this technology, who are the ones programming it? Who are programming these algorithms? And what's to keep them from saying that this software is for one purpose, like they're saying here, and then also on top of that, and including that, it's also going after stuff that people are putting out that is, would be labeled conspiracy or truth or whatever, or information. There's nothing that's stopping any of the other software and programs out there from already doing that right now. There's no telling how many of those software there are out there that are doing that right now already. But this is how they're getting us to accept this stuff. A decade ago, today's state-of-the-art would have registered as sci-fi. That's how fast the improvements have come, said Andrew Grotto of the Center for International Security at Stanford University. There's no reason to think the pace of innovation will slow anytime soon. U.S. officials have been working on plans to prevent outside hackers from flooding social channels with false information ahead of the 2020 elections. The drive has been hindered by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's refusal to consider election security legislation. Critics have labeled him hashtag Moscow Mitch, saying he left the U.S. vulnerable to meddling with Russia, prompting his retort of modern-day McCarthyism. Well, yeah, no. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's come up in the research. And Mitch McConnell is so... For him to even suggest that he's not balls deep with Russia is beyond laughable. I mean, a third grader could do 3 seconds of research and find his connections on the internet that quick. So this is exactly what they're trying to do. And you notice how, even these right-wingers who claim to be going after the big tech companies, and all of a sudden, for strange reasons over the past few years, all of a sudden the big tech companies are in the crosshairs of the right-wingers, and they claim to tell the public, oh, we're going after them because they're biased against Republicans, they're biased against right-wing, and they're tracking us and all this. And yet they're all for it when it works in their favor. President Donald Trump has repeatedly rejected allegations that dubious content on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Google aided his election win. Hillary Clinton's supporters claimed a flood of fake items may have helped sway the results in 2016. But again, this is what this is all about. This is why this whole thing about fake news and all this has been a big trap, because they want to get to be the ones that not only decide what is fake news and what isn't, they also want to create software that will help them label things that even if it isn't that. So you see how they see that double think and that double speak where Silicon Valley's bad and the big tech companies are bad. But it's good if the DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, creates their own software that Silicon Valley doesn't have anything to do. That's 100,000 times worse than what the big tech giants are putting out. It's okay if it's from America. American software made by DARPA. Made with the blood of Indians. I approve of it. Evangelical leader claims teaching kids basic science causes mass shootings. As soon as I saw this headline, I went, you know what? I don't even know who said that. I don't care. But I guarantee you, whoever said this was probably some CMP type. Scroll down, look. An evangelical leader, because that's all it said in the headline. An evangelical leader claimed Sunday that mass shootings are caused by, quote, driving God from the public square, and specifically by teaching kids about evolution. We've taught our kids that they come about by chance through primordial slime, and then we're surprised that they treat their fellow Americans like dirt. Tony Perkins, head of the Family Research Council. Boom, nigga! Yeah! Tony Perkins, head of the Family Research Council. CMP Deluxe. I just knew it. It was just like that, a statement like that. Let's be honest here. Can only be made by someone associated with the Council for National Policy. There it is. That is hilarious. You see something like, it's just always that way. You see something that far out into the evangelical outfield, you're just, it's got to be one of those guys. That's hilarious. So, the origin of the disputed, let's say, rather, the disputed origin of the species is what makes people hate each other? No, I would say it's the programmed division. Things were just fine until a few years ago. Everybody started buying into this programmed division. And I just laugh at it. It's all funny to me. I don't take any of it seriously, whether it's left wing or right wing or any of it. I mean, when you're separated from it for long enough, I've just known for too long it's all a joke. And it's just, but people still get worked up about it, man. And I just laugh at it. But it's funny when people just they don't understand why you're not as worked up about it as they are, which is exactly how us as conspiracy theorists used to feel. Now it's the other way around. Have you guys noticed? That's crazy. Isn't that wild? Isn't it crazy? Think about it. I mean, especially if you've been into this stuff, for a while, and you've seen that, experienced that. It's nuts. Remember when we used to be the ones that were going around yelling at everybody, said, "Hey, look at this. No, see what this person said, and they did this, and blah, 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 blah." And everybody in the rest of the world were just brainwashed sheep, and nobody cared. Oh yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't get into politics. I just want to fucking eat Hot Pockets and watch wrestling, play some video games later. Bring some Code Red over, man. And now, it's crazy because now that those of us who've been paying attention to this stuff for so long, we know that, all this new stuff, whether it be the social justice warrior stuff or, whatever it may be, whatever the current thing they want us to all have strong opinions about. It's crazy to see, because I've seen it so much with our listening audience and people email me and stuff on social media and stuff. It's just so funny that the people that, when we were like, hey, now they're that way. Oh, did you see what that Black Lives Matter person said? Oh my goodness. Those people are anti-American. I mean, I hate them all too. And I mean, left wing, right wing, I don't care. I hate them all. But still. It's just hilarious at how it's flipped. It's flipped now. And then those of us who were doing this same kind of thing 10 years ago, even farther back, now we're the ones that are just like, well, whatever, because we all know. We've known this was coming. We know what this is. It's all programmed. None of this is real, but people make it real by believing it's real and then acting in one way or the other, either for or against whatever these controlled and created phony issues that they're pumping out to everybody. It's one. I know you guys have noticed it because you guys have emailed me about it, asking me if I've noticed it. Yes, I have noticed it, man. I've noticed it for sure. So, it's crazy. It's just funny because, a lot of these people didn't care about any of this. You try to talk to them about stuff going on 10 years ago. I don't care about politics, or I don't care about that. Now everybody's got an opinion about it. Now they're wondering. Now when they try to say it to somebody like you or me, that knows what's going on with this stuff, they're shocked when I don't. I can. It's all just smoke and mirrors, man. I'm not gonna get myself wrapped up in that crap. Justin Bieber found out he's related to Ryan Gosling and Avril Lavigne. So here we go with more of the bloodline shit. I mean, again, this proves what many of you, most of you probably already known for years, but, people don't make it based on their talent, really. Very rarely. I mean, I'm not saying that there hasn't been people who have become successful based strictly on their talent and not because they were part of some bloodline, I mean, yes, there are ones that slip through the crack through the years. But, and you know what? That's one of the things that I've kind of contemplated since I've been making the Spellcasters 2 and 3 is this idea that, because besides some of these guys some of these ones that were MK Ultra types, it does seem that some of the ones that were suicided and were some of those ones that came up through the cracks just because they had crazy, insane talent, and not because they were from some bloodline. A royal bloodline or something else. And, potentially this is why they were suicided and whatnot. They don't want people You know, you start reaching that level, man, with that kind of money and stuff, that's it. Just don't want anybody that's not in those bloodlines to have that kind of power. Bieber posted a list generated by Ancestry.com, was able to connect the 3 megastars' DNA by many generations. Yeah, I mean, there was that thing, it was very early in, when I started the show, 2007, 2008, something like that. That CBS News story showed how Obama and Bush and Vlad the Impaler and Justin Timberlake and Tom Hanks and on all these celebrities and famous politicians and one presidents and Princess Diana, they're all interrelated, all related back to the royal bloodlines, all go back to Vlad the Impaler too, which is very interesting. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, there we go. Told you that. Mosquitoes incoming. Coming in hot. They are coming in hot, eating my white ass up. The Trump administration is considering a proposal that would use Google, Amazon, and Apple to collect data on users who exhibit characteristics of mental illness that could lead to violent behavior, the Washington Post reported. The proposal is part of an initiative to create a Health Advanced Research Projects Agency, HARPA. What? Located inside the Health and Human Services Department. Now, this is what the fuck I'm talking about right here. Oh, we don't like big tech, and we're against Silicon Valley and all this, but yet the Trump administration wants to create. Oh, DARPA wasn't enough. You're kidding me. They're going to create a quote unquote Health and Human Services version of DARPA called HARPA, the Health Advanced Research Projects Agency. And one of the things they want to do is to collect data from personal devices like Apple Watches to determine if people are mentally fit to own guns. I just don't see how this is any different than what the right-wingers are hating on Silicon Valley for. This is the same shit, but yet again, when it's something they want to use for their agendas, but then technology's fine. It's something they develop. That's what it is, because back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you used to have the NSA used to have the Echelon system. You can look up type NSA Echelon. And Echelon was like the massive NSA world listening thing, and it wasn't even known for a long. It was around a lot longer than it was known. And it worked in conjunction with all the major telecom hubs. Everything that went through any of the major telecom hubs in the United States went through Echelon. And when the Echelon program ended, Google became Echelon. This is a fact. Google became Echelon. And this is one of the major things people overlook, is how a lot of these big tech companies like Google and others got to where they were from government money. And now the government wants to come after them. And the reason that is because they've seen how much they've paid to these companies for their illegal tracking and tracing and controlling and monitoring and all this stuff. And that's basically what all this is about. If you've wondered why there was this big thing with the Republicans going against the big tech firms and all that, you now know the answer to that question. It's because they want to create their own versions of these things that are government created and controlled. They want to cut the middleman out. You know what I'm saying? These guys are like big time drug dealers. You know, these guys are like drug dealers, but they're having to get their stuff from somebody, and so it's marked up. But they want to cut out the middleman. Well, that's what's going on here with the government. They want to cut out the middleman, which is Google and et cetera, with these technology firms and Amazon. I mean, the Pentagon and whoever else. I mean, that's been reported. We talked about it here when it came out. All the stuff where they're using Amazon's cloud for government file storage and all that stuff. That's basically what's going on. They're getting tired of having to pay Google and Amazon, whoever, for their services. And now they want to create, that's why they're going after them, because they want to create their own government-controlled versions of these things that basically does the same thing or worse. But this is crazy. I can't believe I didn't hear about this until now. They're actually going to create HARPA, the Health Advanced Research Project Agency, which would be located inside the Health and Human Services Department, the report notes. Citing sources inside the administration, the new agency would have a separate budget, and the president would be responsible for appointing its director. HARPA would take after Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, or DARPA, which serves as the research arm for the Pentagon. The idea was first crafted in 2017, but has since gotten a renewed push after mass shootings killed 31 people in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. No, it's okay. See, are you all seeing this now? You all are getting this now. I mean, you guys are smart. I don't have to point that out to you, do I? 2 plus 2 still equals 4, right? That hasn't changed since I've been off air the past couple weeks, has it? Because I mean, you guys are smart. You heard them. Can you believe they just said that? So the HARPA thing was first crafted in 2017, but it got a renewed push after the most recent mass shootings. So now we see the real reason why they had these events happen. Yeah, this is crazy. I can't believe they want to create, and so they want to be able to monitor people. Listen to this. This is some real shit here. HARPA would develop breakthrough technology with high specificity. Wow, fancy word for HARPA. Breakthrough technology with high specificity and sensitivity for early diagnosis of neuropsychiatric violence. According to a copy of the proposal, a multi-modality solution along with real-time data analytics is needed to achieve such an accurate diagnosis. The document lists several technologies that could be employed to help collect information, including Apple Watches, Amazon Echo, and Google Home. So, there's more justification for monitoring you every day, everything you do, say, listening to you in your house through Amazon Echo and Google Home, but doing it under the guise that we want to build these algorithms and determine with that data whether or not you are psychologically fit to own a gun or not. Well, this is genius. This is fucking. Orwell couldn't have thought this up. This is genius. Because, anything said out of context, you get mad one day and you break something and you have a meltdown about it. All those interconnected devices you got in your house that you had to have, all that's monitoring all that. All that's building algorithms. This is genius. It really is. And again, here we are with yet another example of this, of like I was saying, big tech is bad until we use it how we want to use it and to weaponize it, which is really all they want to do with all this stuff. Speaking of that, did you guys see the new Child's Play reboot, the new Chucky movie with Mark Hamill doing the voice of Chucky? It was good. It was actually really good. It was because it's all about the interconnected devices and there being this kind of Amazon-like company that has all these interconnected devices, and then except the thing that was different in this one was that instead of it being like the first Child's Play was unique because it was the serial killer whose soul jumped into this doll, right? Well, here it's technology. There's no souls jumping in dolls. This is just some rogue employee who got pissed off and pulled all the safety protocols off, and this doll got sent out, and you know what happens after that. But no, it's really cool how this stuff is interconnected with the drones, and it was an interesting twist. Let's see what else we got here. I got to tell you, and I know you guys have probably seen all this since I've been off air and hadn't been able to talk about it. If you guys keep up with the news, you've probably seen all these stories and all these examples of this. I got to tell you, man, I've been saying this for a long time, been saying it was coming. I said, I made the prediction, which I could be wrong about, but I did make the prediction that, in my opinion, we would see the staged false flag alien invasion scenario play out during the Trump administration. And I got to tell you, there have been a lot of indicators lately. A lot of stuff that I remember hearing years ago. So stuff like that they talked about with Project Bluebeam, and about how they got before they got ready to launch this staged alien invasion scenario, that there would be mass sightings of UFOs all around the world, but they would all be fake, and they would all just be basically like holograms in preparation for this technology they're going to use to stage the alien invasion. And all of a sudden, these things that people call sky servants have returned. I've got a story. We'll get to it. I remember those were being seen about 10 years ago. All of a sudden, they're back again. Those, in my opinion, are some sort of holographic technology. Also, the other thing, going back to the von Braun thing, first the threat would be communism, and then third world terrorist crazies, and then asteroids. Science fiction gets real. Asteroid busting mission proposed. Global warming, nuclear war, and asteroid hits. There are so many ways the world could end, but now NASA and the ESA are working on a trial to deflect would-be Earth-shattering asteroids. This past July, asteroid 2019 NN3, a 747-sized nickel-iron rock, zoomed by Earth. It missed us, but we may not always be so lucky, just ask the dinosaurs. We've known for decades that asteroids pose a real and present threat. See, all of a sudden, they're again, notice how the past few years, most of our lives, it's not even been talked about. Now, all of a sudden, it's a threat again. It's all about the weaponization of space. Don't forget that. A space rock less than a third of that size flew over the Russian town of Chelyabinsk in 2013, releasing half a megaton of energy above the city. I have bad news for you. If 2019 NN3 or an even bigger killer comes along, we don't have a team of tough oil drillers led by Bruce Willis able to fly up to a space shuttle, land on it, and blow it to pieces. Heck, we don't even have shuttles anymore. But we are working on a way to deflect asteroids from Earth. Asteroid Impact and Deflection Assessment. This experiment by the European Space Agency and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration will attempt to deflect an asteroid by hitting it with refrigerator-sized spacecraft capable of deflecting asteroids and prevent them from colliding with Earth. This double asteroid redirection test, DART program, is being designed and managed by scientists at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. The goal of DART's kinetic impactor technique is not to blow an asteroid up, but to knock it hard enough to make it shift orbit. DART's target is Didymos. This is a twin asteroid system comprising of two orbiting asteroids. The first is Didymos A and is 780 meters in size, while its companion, Didymos B, is 160 meters of space rock. The plan is to shoot Didymos B with DART. NASA will attempt to crash DART into Didymos B in September 2022 at speeds of just under 15,000 miles per hour, or about 6 kilometers per second. Simultaneously, the ESA's accompanying Licia Cube Light Italian CubeSat for imaging asteroids will video the results. After that, the ESA's Hera will arrive at Didymos in 2027 to observe the crash site. So, again, they're all of a sudden pushing that asteroid threat again. Pushing that as being something that we need to weaponize space for. It's all a trap towards that. And, I've talked about this for years. They've been hinting about it. There was one of the Captain America movies. Was it Winter Soldier? I can't remember one where that basic scenario played out in that movie, where there was, space-based weapons, weaponized space, and what did they do? They told them it was to protect Earth, but instead of it being to protect Earth, they turned them around from outer space and point them back down at the ground, where they can zap anybody, anywhere, anytime on the planet, day or night. That's the full enslavement system. Space-based weapons launched from space onto any human person can be wiped out for any reason at any second. And then in the new Spider-Man Far From Home, you have the character of Mysterio, who's basically using technology, holograms, virtual reality, and drones to create holographic images of destruction, and that he tricks people into thinking is real that isn't. And then if you watch past the credits to the very end, you see a scene where he's using deep fake stuff to make it look like Spider-Man did something he didn't do. And, you start to see these themes over and over again. U.S. University Johns Hopkins opened psychedelic research center dedicated to studying medical uses of magic mushrooms and other hallucinogenic drugs. One of the U.S. most prestigious universities is setting up a center to investigate the health benefits of psychedelic drugs. I'm all for this. I think that, just as somebody who's had experience with this stuff, that there are real and legitimate benefits for stuff like PTSD, trauma of all types. There's all sorts of benefits. I will never, and am not knocking that for a second. Believe me. But since all of a sudden there's been renewed interest in this, when we've had so many studies of this on the past of the government for years that said, no, these things don't have any benefit, why now are they trying to do this? And call me crazy, call me conspiracy theorist, whatever, but I can't help but think that this stuff was connected to MK Ultra before. It'd be hard pressed for you to think it's not connected to stuff like that now. Current mind control programs, maybe one's not called MK, I'm sure it's not called MK Ultra anymore, but whatever it's called now, it's still an offshoot from that original program, and it certainly still exists. But I think that that's what they're trying to do now, is they're trying to find new applications for this within the realms of mind control. And really, when you get down to it, if you want to get down to it, the whole practice of psychiatry and, all those drugs, it's all mind control. It's a way to control the mind from whatever its natural state is and control it into some other state that's more preferable than the natural state, which, means let's try to turn somebody that's naturally crazy into somebody that isn't. It's still mind control. Whether it's beneficial or not beneficial, it's still mind control. So that's my concern with all this stuff, with all this newly found research. It just smells like there's a hidden agenda to it, even though, listen, those are always the best things. That's just been my experience. Those are the best things that they hide stuff in. Is stuff that, has so many beneficial things. Why would you argue with it, So I don't know. I'm skeptical of this, and I definitely smell a hidden agenda. The Silicon Valley heavyweights who want to settle the moon. No, really. The moon is all the rage these days. China wants to send people there. So too does the United States and NASA. In fact, just about every country with a space program has some sort of lunar ambition they hope will play out over the next few years. Yet nobody seems to show the technology that they're going to use to get people back there. And to explain why we haven't been back there since the last time. Isn't it crazy? I'm 43 years old, and there have been no more people that have gone to the moon since I've been alive. How crazy is that? Yeah, it's did you guys hear I don't think I covered this. I don't think it was on air. I don't think I have it here in my stack, but speaking of the Chinese space program, did you guys hear about what happened with their rover up there, their lunar rover? This is some crazy shit. They found some sort of strange material up there on the moon with a rover that they said was like, it was like iridescent, some strange kind of material. Some gel-like substance. And they apparently found this towards like January, February this year, but didn't report it until recently. And what's interesting about that is that they called off they stopped their rover program after they found this. China canceled their whole rover program and ended their whole operation right then and there. Now that is what's suspect about that to me. Because it made me think of that, the astronauts being warned off the moon story that we've heard. So I don't know what that is that they found. To me, if you want me to tell you what I think it is, I think it's some sort of waste material from whatever the mining and stuff that's been going on up there by probably other races of people and whatnot, or some fuel material that these extraterrestrials have been making up there. I think that's what I think it is. I think it's some kind of waste material from some sort of either mineral extraction or some sort of processing that's been going on up there. Now there's a new entrant in this new space race, a nonprofit organization called the Open Lunar Foundation. Based in San Francisco, it's a group made up of tech executives and engineers, many of them with former ties to NASA who have serious ambitions to create lunar settlement. The driving ethos behind the foundation is to start a development that would not be beholden to a particular country or billionaire. Instead, as the group's name suggests, Open Lunar wants to create a technology for exploring and living on the moon as a type of collaborative effort. Our highest ambition is catalyzing and enabling a peaceful and cooperative lunar settlement, said Chelsea Robinson, the chief of operations and staff for Open Lunar. At this time, when there are so many commercial and government actors advancing their efforts on the moon, we are excited to demonstrate a civic approach to participation. Open Lunar began a few years ago as something of a thought exercise. A group of friends in Silicon Valley were taking stock of the dramatic improvements in aerospace technology, along with the falling cost of rocket launches, thanks to companies like Elon Musk's Space Exploration Technologies Corporation and Peter Beck's Rocket Lab. The friends came to the realization that it might soon be possible to create a small lunar settlement for about $2 billion to $3 billion. It's a hefty sum, but a very achievable one in an era that abounds with wealthy space enthusiasts. And so the friends decided to explore the idea of going to the moon in earnest. The picture that emerged out of those meetings was that you could create a permanent, economically self-sustaining presence on the moon that could be done for the single-digit billions, said Stephen Jerviston, a venture capitalist who provided the initial Open Lunar funding. I got excited by the idea and the compelling nature of the people involved. So they want to build themselves a fucking billionaire's lunar ark of Noah's Ark up there, huh? Fuck out of here with that shit. Scientists unveil weed breathalyzer, launching debate over next steps. Fuck out of here with that, too. Fuck out of here with that fucking weed breathalyzer. Give me a fucking break. I don't even have anything to say about that. It's so retarded. What else we got? China filmed using weather control to change direction of typhoon. Some believe the footage is proof of China has their own HARP-style technology. Well, of course they do. That's a common fact. China's been manipulating the weather for decades. Of course they have their own HARP-type systems. Those type of systems are spread out all over the planet. Yesterday's conspiracy theory is today's accepted fact. China has been filmed firing microwaves at a typhoon to change its direction, according to a bonkers claim from a conspiracy theorist. For years, so-called truth seekers have claimed the U.S. government has been using technology developed by the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HARP, to alter its weather conditions, but a new video has now surfaced that has sparked wacky claims that China is doing the same. The footage shows radar images of a typhoon off the coast of Taiwan. There appears to be a distortion coming from the Chinese city of Ninjiti, where circular beams seem to be emanating from. Yeah. I mean, it's, again, people laughed at it for years and called it a conspiracy theory, but weather modification's been around for 5 decades. It's not, it's old tech and it's real, and just because, some person lives in their little dream world where they don't want to admit these things exist doesn't mean they don't. Police team up with Amazon Ring to hand out free camera doorbells worth $89 to thousands of households across Britain. Yeah, this is, of course. Yeah, this has already been reported. They are building a massive surveillance grid. And it's just like we talked about before with the Fitbit thing and the new HARPA thing where they want to monitor people using your Alexa or whatever you might have, whatever your device, interconnected device is, to build these psychological profiles on you, see if you're mentally fit to own a gun. That's what they'll start with. And then it'll be, are you mentally fit to have a child, or even, should we take your child away? Are you mentally fit to have a pet? I mean, it's just a slippery stuff. That's why I won't allow these things in my house. I ain't getting no fucking Ring doorbell. I ain't getting no goddamn Nest fucking thermostat. I'm fine with the fucking ones that they've been making since central heat and air has existed. Fine with them. When they went digital, that was as good as you needed them to be. I don't need to be changing my shit when I'm not from home and using my app to do my phone. I don't need all that. But the fact that they are building a giant surveillance grid. I mean, you thought just tapping your phone and all that stuff. Nah, dude. Nah. That ain't fucking 24/7 live. They want 24/7 live. The only way they get 24/7 live is to get you to install that Ring or Nest thing with the camera on it, interconnected 24/7, always connected, always on. And, all I can say is, if you allow this stuff to be in your house, then, don't complain about it once it bites you in the ace. China's giant telescope picks up mysterious signals from deep space. Chinese astronomers have detected repeated fast radio bursts, mysterious signals believed to be from a source about 3 billion light years from Earth, with the largest and most sensitive radio telescope ever built. Scientists detected these fast signals with the 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope, and they are carefully cross-checking and processing them, according to researchers at the National Astronomical Observatories of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. FRBs are the brightest bursts known in the universe. They are called fast because these blips are very short, only several milliseconds in duration, but there is no reasonable explanation for their origin. The detection of the repeated bursts might help shed light on the origin and physical mechanisms of FRB, said researchers. Chinese scientists have installed a highly sensitive FRB backend on a 19-beam receiver on the giant telescope and used it to observe an FRB source named FRB 121102, which was first discovered by the Arecibo Observatory in 2015. And that's interesting because I was just talking about these other HARP facilities around the world, and the Arecibo Observatory is one of those. It doubles as an ionospheric heater. It can be used in conjunction with HARP. That is a fact. So yeah, you got that. You got that other near-Earth object thing. They don't know what it is. It's not an asteroid. It's not a comet. It's going to be passing by Earth soon. You got these deep signals coming out. You've got all these appearances of all these crazy UFOs and sky surfing and stuff going on. The confirmation that naval video UFO stuff came out today. Confirmation that they're saying that shouldn't have been released. That was actually a UFO. So as I said, you can see all these indicators that they're getting very close, I think, to rolling out the staged alien invasion scenario very soon, ladies and gentlemen. So stay vigilant, be prepared, and most of all, keep your discernment hats on, because they're going to throw some shit at you, and it's going to get rough, man, because everybody around you is going to believe it. You're going to be the only one standing there knowing it's bullshit, and everybody around you is going to be going nuts. It's going to be very important for you to remember what you've learned, remember what you know, to not fall for it, and do not allow yourself to be dragged into situations by people who are irrationally making judgments and decisions based on this information. George Soros offers rare praise for Trump and how he's handled the Huawei corporation in the trade war. Oh, fucking Jones was fucking, he was probably in coronary mode. He probably ate his weight in fucking cheese enchiladas after fucking finding this story out. Folks, now Soros is praising Trump. I don't know what to do here, folks. I put all my eggs in the Trump basket. And now, he's in bed with Soros. And you notice how they didn't even say he was in they didn't say he was in bed with Soros. It just said that he praised him for how he handled the Huawei thing in the trade deal. But of course, in Jones's head, that's going to mean, folks, Trump's in bed with Soros. I don't know what to do. This stuff's real. You think I like going home and not being followed? Oh, man. Yeah, I'm sure George Soros just had to say one thing nice about Trump. So I'm sure in Jonesy's mind, that's fucking red alert central. This is an interesting article. I'm not going to read it. NPR, the CIA's secret quest for mind control, torture, LSD, and a poisoner in chief. It's all about Sidney Gottlieb, and it's basically all the information that I had in Spellcasters 1 3 years ago. They even talk about Richard Helm, the CIA. I mean, it's almost like they watched that film and then wrote an article about it. Hilarious. Where were you guys? Like riding the fucking late train yet again. Would you try zapping your penis with the rocket to treat erectile dysfunction at home? Couple says their sound wave gadget can give Bitman back their lives. Zap your dick? I don't know about that. That sounds like some fucked up. I don't know, man. Just the fact that just the fact that it was invented by a woman. You feel me? I don't know. A woman invented a device that you electrocute your cock with that they say can help you get hard again. Man, I didn't just fall off that turnip truck yesterday, lady. Thanks, but no thanks. I ain't fucking zapping my fucking dick with no fucking electricity. No, go ahead. It'll make you rock hard for weeks. Yeah, I bet it will. Yeah, when rigor mortis sets in when I die. Fuck all that. No, we ain't doing that. The rocket. Well, the curtain match the drapes, baby. You can suck my red rocket. I ain't fucking putting no electrical device on my dick. We ain't going there. Texas oil tycoon philanthropist T. Boone Pickens died last week. He died on 9/11/19 at the age of 91. So mote it be, Mr. Freemason man, yeah. Yeah, these guys playing hardball. Oh, how we doing here? Let's see. What else we got? Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated by Thane Eugene Caesar, declares RFK Jr., who says it was a security guard who fatally shot his father from behind after planning the murder of Sirhan Sirhan. Yeah, I've heard that's another one I've heard for years. Nobody really, who I heard did it. I heard it was Rosemary Clooney, is what I heard. Y'all know who Rosemary Clooney is, right? The singer? Yeah, supposedly she was working for the agency. Supposedly she was working for the CIA. And, her nephew, of course, is George Clooney, who we know for a fact is who's in the CIA. He's running those destabilization ops in Darfur under Obama. Interesting. I don't know. Like I said, folks, I'm glad to be back with you here. I mean, just to do, a short show for you tonight. Feels good to be back. I appreciate everybody out there and your continued support. Our goal, we need to raise $300 this week. Support's been slim into this month because we're already halfway through this month and I haven't been able to broadcast. I'm still displaced from my house. But we still got bills to pay, and I still got to survive and all that. So, everything we had went in the bucket for this. So this is our 10-year anniversary. Next week, the actual 10-year anniversary date is the 26th. So I'll definitely be doing a special show there. And I'll be doing as many shows as I can for you leading up to that. And once I get back in my place, I'm going to continue work on the Spellcasters 2. And my goal will be to have that out for you in 2 weeks after I get back in my place. So just need to raise some money right now. We're at zero again after paying the bills. Or getting this, this mobile rig and everything up and running. So $300 our goal for the week. Go make a contribution. Get yourself some downloads of my films, rather. In the download shop, we got the complete collection, all my work, all my audiobooks, all my films, everything. You can get that in there for if you add up how much those all cost individually in the chat. I mean, in the download shop, if you end all individually, you're looking a few $100, but for $175, you can get the complete download collection. It has all my work in it. So get that, get all my films, get the Mystery Hollywood 5-part, 9-hour series. If you hadn't seen that, insane information. You got to see that. So Mystery Hollywood, download that, make a contribution, make a donation, get yourself a membership to the archives, and hopefully we'll be back in the studio very soon. But I need your support here, folks. I'm on zero, and, everybody throw some in. I love you guys. It was great being back with you, and I'll be back with you again real soon. You guys take care. Have a great one.